Hi, I'm Dr. Rick Fitzgibbons. I want to welcome you to the chapter on the lonely, the sad spouse. Loneliness is a major conflict that interferes with marital happiness. 2/3 of the divorces that occur in marriages in which there's a low level of conflict. It's my professional opinion, based on working with several thousand couples over the past 30 years, that an inner loneliness or an inner sadness is the basic reason for this. Now, what causes this loneliness and sadness in married life? Certainly, it can occur because spouses are not giving themselves to one another enough. Spouses aren't giving themselves to romantic love. They're not giving themselves to the marital friendship. They're not giving themselves to what John Paul II in his brilliant book, Love and Responsibility, calls betrothed love, which includes sexual intimacy, but is more than sexual intimacy. It's the moving from me to we. Many people have a hard time moving from me to we, but that's essential in married life, that we make that movement from me to we, and that we do it daily, that we give ourselves. However, there are many marriages in which there's a healthy romantic relationship, in which there's good communication and a healthy marital friendship, and in which there's good oneness in the marriage, and yet the person still feels lonely. Well, how does that occur? They still feel sad. Many spouses, this occurs for this reason. In childhood, that their bonding with a father or the mother was weak. And the most common weakness in that bonding that we treat is in the father relationship. So if you haven't had the comforting father love you need, you're going to find in your married life a certain sadness within yourself. And you need to work to resolve that. You need to understand your father, try to forgive your father, and try to work to heal that father wound. In our view, the only way it can be healed is if there's a certain spiritual component in the healing process. Now, there are a number of virtues you can grow in to help overcome loneliness in marriage. First, it's essential that in your marriage that you give yourself, self-giving, that you give yourself to romantic love, that you carve out at least 20 minutes a day to talk to your spouse, that you think about we and not just me, that you think about trusting your spouse more. Maybe hurts have developed and you've pulled away from your spouse. One is upstairs on the computer, one is downstairs on the computer. Stop doing that. Be in the same room together. Don't just sit in front of the TV. Talk to one another. Set at least 20 minutes aside daily to talk to one another. And if you have wounds from your childhood, and guess what? We all do. If you have wounds from your childhood, think about forgiving the parent who disappointed you the most. After you forgive that parent, there's a sadness under that anger, okay? That needs to be filled. I would recommend this. If you have a faith component to your life, and faith is extremely helpful in protecting people from loneliness, that think you're powerless over this wound and turn it over to God. There are a number of research studies that demonstrate that couples who go to church together every Sunday have happier, loving relationships and better intimate relationships than those who don't. The good news is the wound of selfishness can be healed. God's first words to Adam were, "Adam, it's not good for man to be alone." He wouldn't have said that unless there was a plan to protect our marriages and our children from the wound of loneliness and selfishness.